Hi everyone. This is the East Coast Economic Update for March the 15th, 2015. Just a couple of things I want you to kind of think about, and we'll get into more detail as other videos come up. One is that uh, the quantitative easing, which has ended back in October, November, has dropped oil prices. And the reason why it's dropped oil prices is not necessarily about the amount of oil that we've been producing, but the fact that the amount of dollars it takes to pay for that has dropped. In other words, we've switched from an inflationary depression where stuff is more expensive and we can't afford it, to a deflationary depression where things are very cheap and we still can't afford it. And in case you don't know what an inflationary depression is, and you have a grandparent that's 80 or 90 years old, you can always remember those stories like, I remember when Coca-Cola was a nickel. But ask them how many Coca-Colas they could buy, and they'd say probably none because it was so expensive, because they couldn't afford the nickel because they couldn't have it. Some other things I'd like to tell you. One is that the reason why we're still in a depression, and we will probably continue to be so until about 2020 or so, is for two reasons. One, the unemployment rate in reality, if you go on Shadow Stats, the link is connected. Um, we're still at 25.2 unemployment. The 5.5 number, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, uh, touts for March, is based on only those people that are getting benefits. One of the weird little things that they point out is that even though the unemployment rate is almost at full employment, that would be below 5% unemployment, wages haven't gone up. And the reason why wages haven't gone up is because in reality, people who are looking for full time are working part time or super part time, under 20 hours a week. Many of them are college graduates making, in some cases, 11, maybe even less dollars an hour. So they're living at home. Their family is working only part time, or only one member of the family out of a number of adult members are working full time. So as this continues, and by the way, that 25.2% does not count those people who are over the age of 64 or 62. And those people are also, if you add those people coming back out of retirement, we're looking at close to 30% easily. And these numbers are not going to drop in the near future. The new normal, as they've been touting since 2009, is not a new normal. It's an old normal. It's a normal that happens when a empire unravels. One of the most recent examples we can look at is in 1952-53 into 60, when the United Kingdom unraveled from its empire position. It had loaded a lot of debt during World War II, and it was beholden to the new superpower that rose up, which was the United States. As the United States unravels, do not be surprised if a more socialist system occurs through what is commonly used as a VAT tax, a valued added tax. If you don't know what that is, a valued added tax is a sales tax that is very large, and it's used to basically give people who are unemployed to bridge the gap. Food stamps, unemployment, welfare. And you might think, well, that's pretty awful, but actually and I'm not a socialist, considering I'm living here in a cabin in the middle of nowhere. Uh, it is a solution, a better solution that would happen during the end of the Roman Empire, when people were dispersed into smaller towns, into vassals, and became serfs. And what we call the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages occurred for over 500 years. So this new socialism, this old socialism, is is the is the life support system that they're going to give to the peoples of the United States going forward. So you're asking next, gee, John, is there any good news? Well, there is some good news. The good news is that at this present time, the housing market is going to probably hit zero. And when I mean zero, I mean that the number of houses available will match the number of people who can afford them, and the price will come down to a level which can be afforded. When that's going to happen, my best guess, and it's a guess completely, is between 2017 and 2020. That will mean when they hit zero, not when they go back up. So if you're looking to buy property at a reasonable price, I would suggest you start to look and save up the 10% or 20%. I know that sounds like a lot of money, But as the economy kind of levels off, you'll be able to either develop your own businesses or do like I did, which is basically multitask businesses. And I'll get into that in some of my other videos about the Baerbaum, the homestead. So that's that. I mean, the only other thing I can tell you is that once they start to increase, once Yellen, who replaced Greenspan and ultimately Bernanke and before Greenspan, um, has no choice but to raise their interest rates. They can't hold on anymore. That's the reason why they shrank QE3. They can't produce any more money because the only way they can produce fiat currency is if somebody buys the bonds. And the bonds are coming to fruition. The last tranche, the last large amount of money that China, India, and some of Russia bought at the collapse of our financial disaster, which is between 2008 and 2009, is coming to fruition. Some of them are 7-year bonds, which are coming to fruition this year for 2009, and some of them are 10-year-old bonds, which will be happening around 2017, 2018. That's why I'm assuming that that zero line is going to happen. The only way they're going to prevent an open inflationary depression is by raising interest rates. They must. They have no choice. It's like gravity. They've run out of bullets. They've run out of imaginary bullets. They've run out of ideas, and there's no way around it. So expect that interest rate rise, and a precipitous one, 5, 7, 10, 12, maybe more percent. I don't think it's going to be as high as when Volcker was there, which was 20, 25%, but it's going to be 5 to 7 to 10%. And it's going to happen around August when most of the traders are out of the town. And that's what happened at the last great collapse, 2008. Bernanke tried to raise interest rates around July, and everything went sideways by October. So these are the things that I want you to keep an eye on. Message me, what have you. I will be making more videos. And until next time, peace.